It's the Treehouse.
I have some troubling news to share with you boys about island life.
Oh boy.
That is, doesn't matter where you move to, where you go, where you hide, the Jehovah's Witnesses will find you.
Yes. That's great.
Yeah. No, it's not. At this point, I'd prefer the Goat Man of Bordeaux Mountain lurking outside the house.
I think that's his picture.
No, this is according to the two nice ladies outside our house this morning. That's Jesus.
Oh, did you
That right there is that is an artist rendering of Jesus.
Did you know you can schedule an appointment with for Jehovah's Witnesses?
I thought you were about to say Jesus. I'm like, oh my God, people have been waiting for him for a while.
Jesus is on Calendly. Let me look him up. Let me schedule some time. I got questions. Like, one of the things that always intrigued me about the Jehovah's Witnesses is that supposedly, if I remember this correctly, and this may have changed, but only like 444,000 people get into heaven, and the Jehovah's Witnesses.
I think it's
144,000.
Okay, 140. So limited. Yeah. Heaven's got limited space according to Jehovah's Witnesses. This has always seemed weird to me. If Jehovah's Witnesses feel only 144,000 of them specifically get into heaven and no one else, then why are they constantly recruiting? Don't they have 144,000 by now?
No, but what if that's the thing? They're like, God, man, we're at 112.
We're right there. Like, and maybe what happens if they hit the 144,000 goal, then the rapture actually happens.
Yeah. And
the Earth experiment is shut down, and they all poof disappear like Jedi.
Yeah, that's what they get to 144, and why Jesus comes down. And,
or their heaven's run by like FIFA, and we're all going to be quadruple bunked in one room. So then,
I have dibs on Messi.
Damn it! That's a good dibs, Raj.
I just I don't know anything about them. I do know the 144,000. I thought that was Mormons as well, that had a finite number of how many people were getting in. But I don't know.
I don't know. Based on your time in Utah recently, you would probably be the foremost expert on Mormonism inside the Treehouse. My limited experience with the Mormon religion is based on 6th grade basketball, when my basketball coach at the Y, or whatever league it was in Plano at the time, also had his church basketball team with his son, and they needed someone to play. So they asked me, after we got finished with our quote unquote regular league game, if I wanted to come play in their Mormon league. And I was like, okay, sure. And that we played on, I think the court was on carpet inside of a Mormon church. It was very, very odd.
Yeah, were the other teammates just all of that coach's kids?
Yes.
The cheerleaders were all his wives. That'd be great.
They outlawed that many, many years ago, Raj.
Sure, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I have TLC. I know what goes on. I see seeking sister wives. That's not normal. Who wants more wives? Who wakes up that happy? Nobody's like, you know what I need? More of this.
Yeah. You know what I'd like? 14 of these.
Yeah. Who wants more wives? This guy. I
why would you only want a nagger of one when you can have a chorus of naggers? Trey, don't bleep that.
Or do. I mean, we'll lose every sponsor, but if you're gonna go out that way.
No, I think our sponsors might hang around just to see what happens. But where did I put that delete button?
I had a fear, because I like to get to know about other people's religions because they're just fascinating. But I wanted to ask, like Squatty Pete, his whole family, mom, dad, brothers, they're all Mormons. He's the one that I guess left the pack, and we saw how it turned out for him.
Well, in the Treehouse Plus episode, Trey did mention the Mormon Mafia, so maybe there's something to be said about when you live in Provo and you in Provo, Utah, and you leave the religion, then maybe
you turn to Squatty Pete.
You're blackballed.
He's like the Fredo of their mafia.
Is he going around kissing dudes on the mouth? That might explain some of it.
But I wanted to ask him, so tell me about, and I didn't want to, because they're that's the kind of religion. Maybe Squatty Pete's not that way, but if I would have asked anybody else, I think they would be like, I think he wants to know more so he can join. And I'm like, that's not, I just want research. I just want you to tell me the pros and cons of your religion. Like, I don't know what they are for, like, no booze, no caffeine, no sex, no nothing, but I don't know.
I knew that basketball game was weird when at halftime, instead of Gatorade and orange slices, they all started drinking milk, and I'm like, oh, that's not.
So you guys aren't used to winning.
Used to vomiting a lot. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. This is just milk in a trash can. That's. I
think
foul.
Maybe they were on a mission to get that court carpet peeled up and put actual.
The only because how they have to. I do know this. They have to do is it a mission? Is that when you graduate high school or something like that? Don't you have to?
Yeah.
Like, as Freddie Mercury said, get on your bike and ride.
Yeah. So I take it back. My first experience with Mormonism was with a basketball coach in 6th grade. My second experience with Mormonism and what I know about it mostly revolves around the movie Orgasmo and South Park.
Okay. I was in London in 2009. I was doing some shows out there, and I was in Watford. That's where I was staying. And I went down to the city central, and there was a Subway there, and I'm like, I'm gonna get a Subway sandwich. And I walk out of the Subway, and I'm going to my right, and from behind me, I hear these two guys talking, and it's very American accents. And I got excited. There's not a lot of American people in Watford, so I turned around and I go, oh, I know those accents. And then they turned around, and there was name tags and ties, and they had bicycle helmets in their hand, and I go, I would recognize those accents, and they turn around and go, hey man, how's it going? I go, nope, not today. And I turn around the other way and just kept walking. I'm like, nope, not dealing with this. I'm in London. I'm not dealing with this. That does
beg the question then, who's more committed, the Mormons or the Jehovah's Witnesses?
They're on an island. I think.
Oh, the Mormons are here too. I've seen them.
No.
Yeah.
Are they on the bikes?
Well, some of these roads are pretty steep.
They're extreme Mormons.
Yeah, it's the zip lining Mormons.
Screw the X Games. You got the Cross Games.
Utah sucks. And here to tell us how and why is travel correspondent of the Treehouse, comedian Raj Sharma. First of all, Raj, why are you in Utah?
I am in Utah filming my comedy special. It's called Conditional
Comedy special for Raj.
It's called Conditional Love. It's going to be coming out in a couple months. So their studio is here in Provo, Utah. I don't know if they've been held hostage. I don't know if they maybe can't find a U-Haul that's open past 6 p.m. I don't know why they don't get the fuck out of this town. I will tell you this. When I was at that bar, it was very nice. I was there for several hours because I was just bored and I knew it was going to close.
How does that work if you're only allowed 2 drinks? Or you just
if you have bar designation, you can get sauced if you want to.
You can. So you can actually hang out. Okay.
Yeah. So I just came. The NC State was playing Tech, and so I went up to watch that game. And I was there for a couple hours because I was there a little bit before. I thought it was going to be packed. It was not. But for the only bar there, you would think it'd be busy. But went up there and I had a few drinks over my almost 3.5 hours, the 4 hours that I was there. So I had 5 drinks in 4 hours, and I got my bill. And when I got the bill, had Tito's soda, splash of cranberry with lime. Mm-hmm. And when I got the bill, that was the only time I looked at it, and the Indian in me was like, you know what? We could move to Provo.
Really?
Yeah.
So you had 5 Tito's?
Yeah.
What was the tab?
Jeez.
Look, Trey's head's about to pop off.
I think Trey's considering that's a good deal. He may go back to drinking just because it's such a good deal.
He would run Provo.
may move to Provo and tell him how to run a fucking bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me 20% of everything. I'll make you from this point forward.
Yeah, but you could the place that the second bar was at, which is 2 blocks away from this one, is still vacant. Like it's still set up as a bar. So I've kind of been like, you know what, maybe like it's let's see. It's kind of tempting, but again, like if you could get pizza, Domino's closed at 10. Like, so you can't even get like a late night pizza. The only place to get late night food is there's one place that's late night sushi in Provo. So pass, or Denny's, and that you have to drive like 4 miles to a Denny's. But yeah, it was $20. Like when I got the bill, I kind of looked. I had to go to the itemized to make sure that it wasn't somebody else's tab. And I was like, nope, that's mine. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Before I go to Vegas, I will see you guys one more time.
Forget about tomorrow. How much do you charge for overnight rates?
Yeah, the young man that was sitting next to me, his name is Pete, and everybody knows Pete. Pete's a good dude. That's what everybody said walking in the door. And I was like, how does everybody know Pete? He's like, yeah, I squat in that building over there, so just kind of keep an eye on people's cars. I was like, oh, that's a homeless guy drinking with me. Like, I don't know what Provo rock bottom is, but I think I felt it when I was watching ESPN sitting next to homeless Pete.
Well, no. I think that speaks less to you, Raj, and more to the quality of homeless in Utah.
It was, well-dressed kid, well-kept. But everybody's like, Pete, when they'd walk in the door. And
there's a whole squatters network.
Yeah.
They literally they have like their own site and everything where they put out there, oh yeah, hey, this building, blah blah blah, all over. And
yeah, he kind of
wreaking havoc for property owners.
Yeah, and then like when kids, like I guess that are stopping to get something to go or whatever, like he makes sure like they don't get traffic tickets. Like he keeps an eye on the car like during the day. And I think they just toss him a couple of bucks. He squats in the building, like he pointed at it from the bars. Like, that's the building that's squatting. I was like, I don't think you're supposed to yell that out loud, Pete. But okay, like I'm not.
Yeah, but if everybody knows it,
yeah. And he tipped really well every time he got it. He had Miller High Life, the champagne.
Well, yeah, you know what? Pete doesn't have to pay rent. Pete's got cash.
Yeah.
Pete's cost of living is low.
Yeah, not only is he drinking the High Life, he's living it.
Yeah, he had a Jaeger and a High Life. That was his, and it was $12, and tip would Pete would tip $5, and I was like, hey, buddy, don't save that for a rainy day. And then I was like, oh well, I mean, you're outside during the rainy days. I don't know what you have to save that for, but he had 3 of those, and went back to his. He's like, well, I'm gonna go keep an eye on some cars. So I was like, squat away, Pete. Nice to meet you, buddy. He was a very delightful. He wanted to shake my hand, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna fucking pass on that, Pete. I don't know.
Why are you being all judgy on squatting?
No,
Pete?
I'm not being judgy. I'm being germy. I don't know where he's squat. I don't know what the conditions of his squatting house is. So we just dapped it up. I was like, we're good. There you go.
No, if he's sitting next to you, first of all, he's a squatter in Provo, Utah. He's hanging out next to you watching March Madness, drinking High Life and Jaeger, and he's tipping close to 50% per round. Honestly, he probably should have been, questioning you more than you him.
I don't know if that's true, and how goddamn
all you're doing, Raj, is holding his status against him. Just because he's known as Squatter Pete doesn't necessarily mean that he's dirty.
I think they called him Squatty Pete, which sounds terrible. But everybody is hugging him. Somebody asked how his kid was. I was like, I didn't know you could have a squatting family. I don't know how that works.
Squatty Jr.
It's a she. But yeah, he's got the kids, he's got the wife, and they're just squatties.
I feel like we've touched on a new sitcom idea, The Squatters.
Or a new church, The Squatter's House. We'll put it right next to TD Jakes' place.
Absolutely.
See who gets more people. Our parishioners never leave. That's the thing.
Yeah, ours are way more committed.
They always tithe 50%. So
Yeah, see, when you give to Squatter's House, you know exactly where that donation's going.
to the Jesus Christ of methamphetamines. Are speaking tongues all the time.
It is going to be interesting though when TD Jake sees all the extension cords running across the road in the Squatter's house. Join me, Dan O'Malley, Trey Trenholm, and in for Raj Sharma today. Not gonna lie, it's an upgrade. Actor, comedian, television host, and friend of the Treehouse for many years, Mr. Tone Bell. Yay.
What's happening, fellas?
Oh, did you just roll out of bed?
Yes.
Thank you for being honest. I appreciate it.
Yes. I have very few plans today because I hit the road tomorrow. So I was going to do nothing. And when you call me to fill in, I go, I'm not going to do anything special. Nothing I wouldn't do. I'm not getting dressed. All I got today is a haircut and pack some bags. So you getting road tone today, Dan.
We'll take it. Yeah, I figured you either just rolled out of bed or you're just coming off a Jedi training. Either way, thank you for taking the time.
Well, I mean, if I can't tell, I got to tell you what you might believe, not the truth.
I also appreciate that I've always appreciated the honesty in our relationship throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
I think Trey and I've talked about this before. It's basically generational overcorrection. Like we grew up as somewhat like latchkey kids. Like we were trusted from an early age, arguably too early, but we were trusted at an early age to get ourselves to and from school, to and from home.
Property.
Yeah.
For like the next 2 hours, you were in charge of the domain of the homestead.
Did they really trust us, or was it just they didn't give a shit and bad parenting?
No, it was cheaper. Like there was no other option. That 2 hour period was hell for a parent to go, man, from 3:30 to 5:30. I need to figure out what to do with this motherfucker right here.
Wait, what? School has free after school care?
Dude, my parents used to just tell me to get detention. Look, that's free. We can't pick you up.
Yeah, detention is free child care.
Child care we got to pay for. Detention is free. Talk during English class, okay? You get your homework done in there. It was after my parents, everybody was getting detention. The school finally caught on. Be like, you can't just get detention. You're like, nope, that's not the rules. Yes, we can.
It's like the most jacked up version of the Breakfast Club. There's like 75 children in detention.
Everybody got it.
That's a good hack, though, man. Because that's when all the parents got together and said, "Hey, you know what you can do? Just tell your kid get detention."
No, my parents literally go, "Can you get detention today or something?" My parents literally go, "Can you just get detention today?"
Yeah.
I think I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, see, I truly feel like that. That's how I know you and I grew up in slightly different circumstances, Tone, because you were forced to get detention, whereas my school actually had the free after school care that my parents would do before picking me up on their way home from work. Because if I ever got detention, oh my God, I'd be dead. My mother would have killed me.
This one I was at a private school that whoever was doing like that free aftercare or was doing aftercare, nickel and diamond, you're giving them $20 for the day or whatever like that. That teacher that stayed after was making money, like cash. And so our parents were like, if they don't have basketball practice, or because it was like they used to even do that thing where in between, like school would be over 3:15, 3:30, and then basketball practice wouldn't start till 5. So you got to go somewhere for an hour and a half, and they make you go. Well, you can't just wander around the school, so you got to go here. So it's gonna cost you $20. And then if you don't have a car yet, you can't just leave and then come back. So it's like detention. That's free. But now I got to leave detention because I got basketball practice. So you only spend like 45 minutes in detention. Like it was great. It was great.
Yeah, I don't think Trey and I's households were approving of the detention. I mean, hell, if you're talking like Trey got a cut on his knee and his dad's putting, the
kerosene on it.
Yeah, like that's wasn't that the cut? What is it, Trey? What was it called?
Methylate.
Isn't that the stuff that they used on cattle? Like, I'm pretty sure
Probably.
my grandfather used that on heifers.
Probably. It's
I mean, a lot of stuff got used on heifers in the last, 60, 80 years. We don't treat them like that anymore, though.
see,
No,
that's-
they also get hugs.
Yeah, way too
And
many.
that's how we get Kobe beef.
I just Googled methylate.
Uh-huh.
This is even worse.
Worse than you thought?
Yeah. It's a pharmaceutical compound that is 49.55% mercury. That explains a lot of my fucked upness.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
That's the wrong button.
It works.
It's half mercury?
I am not.
That's what your dad rubbed on you for open wounds.
Yes, in open wounds. And it was sold over the counter.
Yeah, it was.
It
The good old
it still
days.
is. Oh, but now it's mercury free. Pussies. Oh, this is
you need to get the good stuff.
this is kind of like what the bottle used to look like, just this orange.
Oh yeah. Yep, I remember that. Except the stuff that I think my grandfather actually had that in his bathroom, except it was such an old bottle that I assume never went bad, probably because how would it? It was such an old bottle, the label was rubbed off. So it was just like patches of label, but you couldn't tell what it was. You knew what it was, but you didn't know what it was called.
Right. And now we know it's because the mercury was eating through the label.
But let's rub it on open wounds.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great idea.
Don't ingest it, but open wounds, yeah, just fine.
All of a sudden, I'm starting to understand the anti-vaccine group.
Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.